up, and welcome to Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. All right, the World Cup is taking place in Qatar after Qatar bribed FIFA to be the host site because they love soccer, and they also needed to do some good old-fashioned sports washing to help their poor reputation around the world, particularly when it comes to human rights. So they get it because bribing is apparently super effective. And they don't have any venues, though, for these teams to play soccer, so they have to have migrant workers come in and build the stadiums, and a ton of migrant workers are killed building the venues. Journalists have been harassed just trying to report on the event from Qatar, and it just came out that they won't be selling any alcohol at all, which I'm sure that FIFA sponsor Budweiser is thrilled about. Now, me personally, if I spent all this money bribing people to get the chance to improve my reputation, I'd probably do my best to at least pretend that all the rumors you'd heard about me were maybe a little bit exaggerated, but Qatar just can't help themselves. And it's funny that they're not letting any alcohol be sold because they're acting a lot like a drunk person who doesn't want anybody to know that they're drunk, even though it's painfully obvious that they're drunk. And you know what? I can kind of relate because I didn't start drinking until I turned 21 because I'm lame and a law-abiding citizen sometimes, and very early on in my drinking career, I didn't know how to drink responsibly. And I was at someone's birthday party drinking irresponsibly, and I went to the bathroom to throw up everything I'd consumed in my life up to that point, but I didn't want anybody to know that I'd gotten that drunk because I had quite literally done the exact same thing the week before at someone else's birthday party. If you're having a birthday party and you want to have a fun time, invite your boy. Anyways, my friends got concerned because I was in the bathroom a while and they had witnessed my behavior the week before. So one of them knocked on the door and they asked if I was okay. So me being drunk and being embarrassed about being drunk again, didn't want to be like, oh no, not at all. You remember that thing I did last week? Well, I did it again. I wanted to hide the fact that I was trashed and buy myself some time to get my act together. Now, much like Qatar, the problem with that plan is that if you're that drunk, there's no hiding that you're that drunk. Now, I know that now, but I didn't know that then. So instead of asking for some water and crackers or whatever, I just yelled, I have diarrhea. Now, it turns out that's not less shameful at all, and it doesn't make anybody think that you're not drunk. But drunk people can't help themselves, much like Qatar can't help themselves. So I did have some thoughts about whether or not I should even cover it, but I am a casual soccer fan, and the World Cup is the biggest sporting event in the world, and I'm going to cover it because I had the freedom to do so here in America, and I can even drink when I do it. And we have just enough sports washing and human rights issues here to give me enough of a taste of what Qatar's doing to be able to cover it all well. So this is the official Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers Men's World Cup preview show for the casual fan, or maybe you're not a soccer fan at all, you need some reasons to watch this, I got you. I'm separating them by group stage to make it a little bit easier to digest. I'm probably taking next week off for Thanksgiving because I want to stuff my face, so let's go ahead and get into it. All right, as I mentioned, I'm a casual soccer fan, so in order to bring you the best coverage, we need an expert here to break it all down, and I called in the most passionate soccer fan I know, Mr. Brett Gosnell. Thank you for coming on, Brett.
Thank you.
Yeah, so first things first, I mentioned all the Qatar stuff in the preamble or whatever you want to call it. We also have NFL season going on, college football, college basketball, and the NBA going on. So why should I, as a casual soccer fan, or maybe someone who doesn't even watch soccer, care about the World Cup?
So I used to be that person. I've now become a big soccer fan, but even well before I cared about soccer at all, even before I knew who any players were, I always watched the World Cup. It is the best sporting event in the world by miles. Like nothing even compares to it. These teams, players, fan bases care so much. You feel that energy. You know how when you watch a big college football game or something, even if you don't have a rooting interest, when the fans are into it, like a big SEC environment or something, it comes through the TV, and you see how much it matters to these people. So that's a big part of this. Another really cool thing to compare it to college sports, the NCAA tournament is fun to see all the different teams with different styles play each other from different parts of the country. Well, think about think about the World Cup. This is different nations. These are whole different soccer cultures that have built up over 100 years, and they're meeting together on the field to see like whose style works the best. I mean, there's historical, political rivalries in addition to just rivalries on the field. I mean, it's just amazing. Even if you don't like soccer, you owe it to yourself to tune into the World Cup.
Would it be cool if, like, if you beat a country, you then owned that country?
They may have used to do that.
Huh. Well,
There are. I didn't know this until last night. I was looking back at the Euro results from last year, and that's the European tournament. That's like the World Cup of just Europe. And there are several countries that are not allowed to play each other because they know the fans would like kill each other if they met on the field. Like Russia and Ukraine, it's in the rule book, not even due to this recent stuff. It's like historically they are not allowed to play each other, and they're like Bosnia and Serbia and stuff like that. So, like, yeah.
that those beefs run deep. All right. Well, you sold me. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go group by group. Brett's gonna tell us a little bit about each team, their chances to advance from the group stage. Then we'll look at who we can expect to win through the rest of the bracket. We're going to discuss Team USA's chances to do all that in this one, but we're going to do a separate one that's more in depth about Team USA. If you're listening or watching, that will show up on the feed just like everything else. So let's go ahead and get into it. We've got Group A, going to be Qatar, Ecuador, Senegal, and the Netherlands. Who do we have advancing from there? And just hit us with some factoids.
Yeah. So I'm just going to try to give a brief rundown of each team just so when you turn on the game, you kind of know what you're looking at. And I'll give you a player or two from each team to keep an eye on who I think is the most entertaining, best player. So Netherlands are definitely the favorite to advance out of this group by far. It would be a shock if they didn't make it through. They're the seventh favorite to win the whole tournament, 12-1 odds. So the Netherlands are a historically great soccer team. They're known for a lot of offense, a lot of attacking play, high flying, not very much defense. So they're a fun team to watch historically. This year, they still play that attacking formation. They play a 3-4-3, which 3 defenders, 4 midfield, 3 attackers. That's the most attacking formation that there is. They still play that formation. However, they've toned back a little bit and focused on defense as of late. Their coach is a defensive-oriented guy. And really, their best players are defenders. Virgil van Dijk is a center back. He is the best defender in the world. But he's very good with the ball at his feet. He's very good about making good passes and attacking as well. So he'll be entertaining to watch. Their other best player, I think he's the captain, Frankie de Jong. He plays for Barcelona. Just a solid, complete center midfield. So that'd be like a point guard in basketball, I guess. Just a guy who, a floor general, runs the floor, keeps everything in order, makes good passes. That's what Frankie de Jong does. And he's one of the very best center midfields in the world. So up top with the attack, not as good as they usually are, but you're playing a 3-4-3. They're still going to be fun to watch. And so, yeah, they're the favorite to advance. Next, we're going to look at Ecuador. So you look at their roster, not a lot of big names. They've got several MLS players, which that's America. That's our league. That's what I watch with Atlanta United, but not the best league in the world. Like I say, not a lot of big names on this team. Their best players are like 21-year-old kids. Moises Caicedo, who plays in England for Brighton, and Piero Hincapie plays in Germany for Leverkusen. So those are guys playing in big European leagues. Their best player, the guy I'm going to tell you to look out for, however, is Enter Valencia. He's 33 years old, probably his last World Cup. He plays for Fenerbahce, a big Turkish club, which isn't quite on the level of the English club, or English league, but still a big league. and he's played in England. He played his whole career in England. He's just kind of on the tail end of his career now. But he'll be fun to watch. He'll play hard, score a lot of goals, hopefully. And look, Ecuador, like I said, not a lot of big names, but they qualified for the World Cup out of South America. That's like the SEC. I mean, that is Europe and South America are like your SEC here. So when you qualify, you're only four teams make it out of South America, and they're one of them. You're good. This is Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Colombia, and they qualified, amongst Brazil and Argentina. Chile and Colombia didn't make it this time. So,
which SEC school would you compare Ecuador to? To like an Ole Miss?
I swear to God, I was exactly going to say Ole Miss because not historically great, but they're on the up right now. So, yeah, that's a great comp. So next, we're going to look at Senegal. So coming out of Africa, they for the first time ever, they're a historically great national team, but for the first time ever, they won AFCON, which is the Africa Cup of Nations. Huge moment for them. You look up and down their roster, everybody plays in a big league. They got European players abound. So they're very solid at every level: defense, midfield, goalkeeping, attacking. They've got solid, not great, but solid players. The team seems to be set up where everybody is going to do their part, be solid, and then we're going to get the ball to the superstar, Sadio Mane. He plays for Liverpool, elite scorer, elite winger. Here's the problem. He's out for this World Cup. He got injured a couple weeks ago, not going to play. To me, that kind of kills Senegal's chances. The whole team is just built around him, and it's a heartbreaker for them and for us as fans to not get to see him play because he is extremely fun to watch. But, he's not going to be there. So finally, we're going to look at Qatar. They're the host nation. I don't know any of their players. You don't know any of their players. They all play in the domestic Qatari league. So, nothing to say about that, but they're the home nation. They're the host nation. These teams always do good. They've got the crowd behind them. They almost always make it out of the group stage. So that's about all I can say about them. So
speaking of Qatar, I forgot to mention, in protest of their alcohol ban, the last minute alcohol ban, we both have our World Cups that we're drinking out of. So
mine looks a little bit better than yours.
Yeah. And I tried to write World Cup on it in the cylinder. I just couldn't do it. But no.
So what's your drink?
Right now, it's a vodka Red Bull.
That's good.
So I was like, get charged up. Of course, Brett's one of the best bartenders I know. That's not even his job. He just does it as a hobby and is way better than I am. I just mixed up two drinks that I thought, this might not taste as much like vodka if I put this in here. A lot of high level stuff. And I also saw a rumor today that Qatar was trying to bribe other countries to let them beat them.
Wow.
Which is interesting. You wouldn't expect that from Qatar, right? Bribing anybody for anything.
No. Yeah. They got the money to do it. I don't know. Senegal and Ecuador, they probably don't think they can go that far anyway. So why not get a nice payday and go home?
That's true. My only tidbit to add from this one is Netherlands made me think of former NBA player Rick Smits.
Ah, yeah.
Remember when that Pacers team, they all shaved their heads and it looked disgusting?
Yeah.
So moving on, Group B.
Yeah.
England.
Well, let me pick my winners here.
Yeah, sorry. It was the World Cup got to me.
So obviously we're going to go Netherlands to advance to win the group. That is going to be yeah. So that's going to be the winner of Group A. And I'm going to go Qatar to be the second team to advance. They're the big underdog here, but I've got big questions about Ecuador and Senegal. And I don't know enough about Qatar to even ask the questions about them. So I'm just going to go with the home team here to advance to the group stage.
Especially with them bribing people now. I think that's a safe pick.